Hello, and welcome to A Product of Proverbs. I'm Joshua Fowler, the host of this podcast in which I sit down with my co-host and dad, Reverend Roy Fowler, to discuss life and how to navigate through the ups and downs. This podcast is all about sharing wisdom, with us looking at the book of Proverbs as our roadmap to how to live a healthy and fulfilling life. Please follow us on Instagram at A Product of Proverbs, and if you like this podcast, share it with anyone that you feel it may help. That being said, let's get into today's show. What's going on, Dad?
Not much right now, Josh.
I know right before we sat down and started recording, you were setting up your home office.
Yeah, that's something new that I'm going to start tomorrow that I'm not looking forward to.
That's something different. You don't really hear too often people saying they're not looking forward to working from home.
Okay.
Why are you?
Because I'm going to, at work, once I clock in, I'm in. So my time is not as tied to my computer and what's going on. And now I feel like I'm going to have to be like right on it. Because even if I go and if I stop by and talk to somebody, they know I'm at work. But now they won't know I'm at work unless they see me online.
So what I see here is someone that's a good worker. Because there's a lot of people that have the complete opposite mentality. And they thinking, oh man, they just know I'm online. I won't have to do nothing now. But you thinking the opposite perspective, saying, I'm going to have to work twice as hard and be double as there, going crazy because ain't nobody going to be messaging you 24/7.
It's funny because our manager said, don't think you're going on vacation.
That's a serious concern, though, for like a lot of people having to work from home because of this lockdown, coronavirus situation. I don't even really know what to call it nowadays, but a lot of people may not have worked from home before, ever wanted to work from home before, care anything for that, but now they're kind of forced to.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on it. Let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is stay at home. Stay at home is related to the coronavirus. This is our second kind of coronavirus episode. The second one we're doing on live as well. So the first coronavirus episode had a couple of technical difficulty. The microphones, and you remember when we were doing the Instagram live. So we got that worked out for this episode on our next coronavirus update. And me personally, I don't care to spend too much time thinking about or talking about the coronavirus.
No, not the coronavirus now, because I think we need to think about how to protect ourselves and how to try to get a handle on stopping or slowing down the spread of it. And that's why I think it's important, this topic, stay at home. What's going to hurt us is that people just will not stay at home. And what's sad is that it's going to take the government, who we don't want in our lives, we don't want all the control, but to keep us safe and healthy, they're going to have to tell us what's essential and what's not essential. Because going to Home Depot to get you a flower to plant is not essential.
Like Matthew said, the customers that come in and get a Snickers and a Powerade and then go home and then come back in a couple hours later for another Snickers and Powerade.
A bag of chips or something like that. Come on, people. What's your proverb, Josh? It really speaks to this.
The proverb for today is a crazy one because it speaks directly to the times. It is literal. Like, this speaks directly to the situation that we're dealing with and will be dealing with for now. I see the next 2-3 months.
At least.
Bare minimum, and then realistically way beyond that if you go into the economic impact. And what I'm most concerned with is the psychological impact. This fear. This is the time that a lot of people will have shared trauma, because everybody's going to be kind of traumatized by this experience, and it's going to stick with them. They're going to remember. Kids are going to remember not being able to go to school, not being able to play with their friends. People are going to remember not being able to go to church. And it'll be kind of like a mark, something that's always there for them. So when you think the economic impact, the psychological impact, and then even if you take it to what the virus says, the actual medical impact, it'll be a long time that the coronavirus kind of touches this generation.
Well, the thing is, too, the early part of my ministry, dealing with the older members, I noticed something about them that was different from my thinking. And they was very frugal, and they kept everything. They wasted nothing. And talking to them, it was because of coming through the Great Depression. So that changed them forever. And this is going to change us forever. Some people will be able to get past it, but others will always model the rest of their life on how they had to deal with it through this situation. And it's going to make an impact.
And then thinking that every time that something kind of like this comes up, they're going to remember either how bad this was or how bad they thought this was going to be. And that's going to affect, like you said, how they act. So how many people are going to have stockpiles of guns and ammo now that they wouldn't have had it before now? How many people will have deep freezers and maybe a little survival stash? Like, how many people are going to be living like that after this experience? But before we got off on that, we were going to touch on the proverb for today. And today's proverb is for everyone, but specifically for those of you who are not staying at home.
If they're not staying at home, all right, listen to this proverb.
So this is specifically for those of you who refuse to stay at home. This one is specifically for the people that are still having functions and parties and going out. This is for the people that are defying the recommendations of the medical professionals. So let's take this proverb to the head. Let's take this proverb to the heart, and let's sit on this for just a second. Proverbs 27:12. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. I'm going to read it one more time. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty.
And really, you could say the wise and the foolish.
So wisdom, it says that the wise see danger in a situation, you see danger in circumstance, and they take refuge. They might
react
hide
in
out.
a positive way. React the way they should.
You analyze the situation, weigh your pros and cons, and then you take the necessary actions. But the simple, the foolish, those that don't think, those that aren't on a higher level of understanding, they just keep going and pay the penalty. But unfortunately, they are causing other people that may have taken refuge, that may not have been so simple, to pay the penalty with them. So that's why today's episode is called Stay at Home, because stay at home is not government control. Stay at home is not lack of freedom. Stay at home is not anyone telling you what to do. Stay at home is wisdom, because we're dealing with the situation that realistically we don't know what it is. We don't know how big it's going to be. We don't know how long it's going to take. We're throwing out numbers and people are scared, but you got to realize that people ain't even getting tested. So these numbers really don't mean anything at all.
Well, you know what those numbers mean? To you, it should be a warning, but these numbers, what it means is this: they're much lower than they really ought to be.
Exactly.
Because people are not getting tested, and people are still going out doing what they want to do, putting other people's lives in danger as well as their own. And it's really no reason for that. People are dying, and we see this. People are dying. It's affecting different people in different ways, but the fact remains, people are dying, and more people are going to die. Lives are upset. People are hurting. Economy is busted. You know, it's crazy. And you got to take it serious.
You got to see the danger in it and really take those necessary steps, take that necessary action. Just stay at home. For this post on Instagram, I got a funny picture. It's the meme of Squidward looking at SpongeBob and Patrick playing outside. He's through his window and they're playing. And it's like, I know you understand like the old memories, and I know it's going to get so much harder the better it starts to feel outside. Because it's going to be hard to stay and sit in your house when more than likely you've been sitting in the house for a large portion of the winter just because of the weather. So springtime comes, and on top of the vacations you would have taken and all the things you would have done, you're going to want to go outside, take a walk. You know, I've walked Jax and Nala more times than I've probably walked them in the last 2 years, in these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, with things like that, and guys, PETA, please don't come after me. We take care of the dogs. We just don't walk them on leashes because we got a big backyard they run in. But The dogs do get proper
Oh, yeah.
exercise.
Oh, yeah.
I just been watching too many documentaries, and they come get you. Shout out to Joe Exotic, Tiger King. Have you watched the Tiger King yet?
No, but tell them, okay, we take care of the dogs.
But back on subject, just stay at home, do the wise thing, do the thing that is most beneficial to you, to your neighbor. So not only your family member, not only the person that lives beside you, but just other people that have to live. Going back to, like we said, the entire impact, the economic impact, the psychological impact, just the way of life. The longer that this goes on, the longer until we can go back to normal life. And the way to not ensure, because we don't know that this stay at home is going to solve it.
Right.
But what we know is that this stay at home will help it. It will help shorten the length of this. It will give people time and give the infrastructure time to catch up to the problem. Give people time in the hospitals time to work on their shifts, work on placement, give people time to work on vaccines, work on tests. But if y'all keep going everywhere, the cases are going to keep piling up, the resources are going to continue to be strained, and then we're going to keep dealing with this for, say, 6 to 8 months as opposed to 2 to 3 months. So realistically, you just got to do the right thing and just stay at home, help us get over this, help us go back to normal life. I forgot who it was. I think maybe Mom, but I was having a conversation about worry. Worry is negative. Worry is something that we don't want to give our energy or attention to. But with this coronavirus atmosphere, worry and fear are the most prevalent forces. Like worry and fear and just the energy of fear is what you feel anywhere. You don't believe me? Go inside the gas station and pump your gas.
Oh, yeah. You should have saw it yesterday. And you can see it. People are afraid.
We just got to stay at home. It's hard. And like me and Matthew had a conversation. If you're a homebody, if you're an introvert, if you're someone that doesn't have to be in the mix, this ain't too bad.
Right.
Because you was probably doing this anyways, and you were going to do a version or variant of this regardless. But it is kind of bad over time. I noticed myself personally this week, I kind of lost it towards the end of the week. I took a PTO day on Friday, and on Saturday I unplugged. Like I didn't touch a phone, nothing, internet, the screen. I didn't do a YouTube. I didn't do an Instagram. I just unplugged completely just because I've worked from home, but I haven't like 10 work days in a row sat in my office, in my room and worked. I haven't 10 business days in a row been in the same environment, not seeing or talking to different people, not walking to different places. So it kind of caught up. So really, regardless of introvert or extrovert, it could be easier, but this time is gonna get to you or weigh on you eventually if you and when you do stay at home like you should be doing. And for those of you that are avoiding it for whatever reason that you refuse to go home or stay at home, eventually you're going to have to. You're going to be the reason that it's by military force, but eventually you're not going to be able to leave your home and you're going to have to deal with it. So what we want to do in line with the product of Proverbs and wisdom and self-growth and looking at the whole picture of life is we want to give you some things you can do and some ways you can use your time wisely while you're at home. Some ways that you can kind of keep your mental straight while you're in an isolated place. And I realize for a lot of people that isolation is serious isolation. I didn't realize the extent of it, but if you live by yourself in a 1-bedroom apartment and you've been doing that for 6 years and now you can't go to work, for the people that don't have family or don't have a good relationship with their family, you might not really be talking to people. You was talking to your coworkers. You were talking to the people you interacted with within your daily routine, but now you're almost solitary confinement. So those of you that do have a family, a significant other, something to help with companionship during these times, lean on those. For those of you that are blessed like us with dogs, lean on that too. As I told you, my dog's probably tired of walking. They said they didn't know they was on a new exercise plan. But, I mean, you spend more time outside, spend more time doing positive things, and that's how you'll be able to make it through to the other side. So To get into it, we're going to start off our list of some things that we want you to focus on. So number one, we want you to focus on intentional thoughts, meditating and praying, being very intentional about where your mind is, how you're thinking, where your energy is going to. Personally, I do this with my morning routines. I wake up in the morning, I get a cup of chamomile tea, sometimes green tea if I'm out of chamomile tea. I just go sit outside, maybe for 15 minutes, maybe for 30 minutes. I don't walk, I don't really take my phone, I don't do anything, I just kind of just sit. Luckily, I'm a morning person, so I wake up early and sometimes beat the birds up, so then the birds get busy. But that's a time where you can just kind of have solitude and really focus on just thinking and getting your mind right for the day, digesting the last day, just kind of getting your energy together to deal with what you're going to have to deal with in isolation and staying at home. And I know you'd probably be the perfect person to touch on or talk about praying and talking to God during this time.
Yeah, I think that's going to be crucial that you spend time in prayer. Morning time is very good, but I would encourage you to have a structured time. If you would still structure your day, it'll keep everything from running together on you, and that will help too with this staying at home situation. I like what you said early in the morning. That's really a good time when things are really quiet. Pray and to meditate. Those are very good points, especially go ahead and reflect over yesterday and then plot out your plans for today. I also encourage you to do a devotional if you're not going to do in-depth reading and studying. Go ahead and start your day with prayer. That's excellent.
So I guess that would be the perfect transition into the next tip, and that's to read. So read your Bible, read books, read articles, continue to digest information, just because, like we said, if you've listened to our previous episode on reading, reading is very important for your personal growth, your personal development, your career growth, your financial. Reading really is the key that unlocks all of those doors for you to kind of enhance and improve your lives. But you got to go get it. That information is there. You just got to open the book and get to it. I know you mentioned a devotional. This would be a good place for us to plug the Bibles that we read. So we know that nowadays everything's electronic. Everything is in technology. So what we want to do is share the Bible app that we use to read the Bible and study and learn. I know you shared with me the Blue Letter Bible.
Yeah, I've shared that with so many people, and I was blessed by someone to share that with me. And it's really a game changer because there's so many resources that are inside of that app that you would be amazed. You can look around and see all of these books that I have on the shelf. And you couldn't carry these books on my shelf in a chest, one of those chests. You couldn't carry them in that. But you can carry 10 times that on your little iPhone or tablet or something, just in the Blue Letter Bible itself. So I would encourage you to look at that, especially if you really want to do some serious study of the Bible and get better understanding. But there are different versions out there that makes it a little clearer. And I've just about eliminated all other Bible apps since I've come across that one and I've become so good with it. That's all I ever used.
So I downloaded the Blue Letter Bible. And I like the app as well, especially like you said, for serious research, with them talking about some of the Hebrew and the Greek behind the text. And really breaking it down. But for those that might not want to go so deep, but really stay engaged and have a lot of guided learning and guided reading, I'd recommend the YouVersion app. So YouVersion is a Bible app that has plans. So you have plans that range from 3-day reading plans to 21-day reading plans. I think they actually have a 365-day reading plan. And there's guided plans from different professors, different pastors, different religious leaders that have the text and real world examples. So every day you read the devotional, so whatever the summary is, and then the actual Bible verses that go with it. And they're all themed, so you pick your theme. Do you want to read about patience? Do you want to read about prayer? Do you want to read about doubt? Do you want to read about grief? And you pick your subject, and then you can pick through what plan you want that goes with your subject. whether you want one that comes with a lot of verses every day or one that only has one verse every day, whether you want a 5-day or you want a 12-day.
That sounds really good. I think that would be good for you to download and start using. That's a very good tool as well. And it's called what?
YouVersion. So the YouVersion Bible app. You can't miss it. You can actually add friends on there so they keep track of the verses that you've highlighted, verses that you share, plans you start, plans your friends have started. You can definitely hide it and do private things as well, but it creates kind of a community between you and the other people within your network, your contacts, your Instagram, your Facebook, that read the Bible through that app as well. So YouVersion and Blue Letter Bible are two good sources. And the main thing we want to touch on when talking about reading books and articles is check your sources. You know, back in the day, all these books behind us, they had a certain level of credibility.
Yes.
Behind the authors that wrote those. Nowadays, that article you read on Facebook, that infographic that's shared on Instagram, anybody can make that. That could be fake news. That could be anything. That could be a guess. That could be outdated. That could be something someone got from another source that lacked credibility. So when reading these articles, when reading these resources, even when reading books, learn about the authors and the sources behind the books, behind the articles, because we don't want you to be digesting false information, and we really don't want you to be sharing false information.
Yeah.
So that's number 2, reading books, reading your Bible. I guess it just flows kind of into number 3, which will be to learn new career skills. You've learned a new career skill and taken your ministry to a new level during this coronavirus times, with you learning video conferencing tools, you learning, and your members learning apps, learning social networks, learning live streaming. You've really been forced during this time to develop a whole new skill set.
But I'm more impressed with my members. They're willing to do that because they want to stay connected. They want to stay engaged. And they're willing to be stretched as well as we are. So that's a very good thing. I'm just really proud of my church, how they're reacting to this situation.
And I know career skills is, for me, I kind of focus on the technical side because I am in the computer world. So focusing on the technical side, there are so many resources out right now, from free courses, online courses from business schools, even some Ivy League schools. Shout out to Fortune for sharing the links in the GroupMe. And if you want some of these links to resources, just shoot us a DM on Instagram and we'll be sure to get them to you. But there are schools that are offering free business courses. There are software companies that are offering free learning courses, free certifications. I know I have a lot of people that ask me, and my girl has a lot of people that ask her, so you're in tech, how do I get into tech? I want to switch careers, I want to get into tech. Before, it was funny, a running joke, you get to work from home? Oh yeah, I want to work from home. I guess, I don't know how we'll be hearing that now after this coronavirus thing, but if you would like the ability to work from home and get kind of into the computer world where there is a lot of, job security in this computer infrastructure because they're not really going anywhere. And now's the time, because these certifications, some are valued up to $3,000 and they're giving them to people for free.
Wow.
It's really because they understand that people are going to be at home looking for and needing something to do. And realistically, they understand that many people, like I imagine many of our listeners, aren't going to do them. Even though they have $3,000 courses for free that can make you an extra $15,000 to $50,000 a year, you're not going to do them. So it don't even really matter. I don't think they're going to be losing too much.
Nope.
So don't be one of those. There's everything from learning coding to learning business processes. There's all type of things you can do. Don't waste this time. I know you got Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and I don't know what else you got. You just got all this technology and all these screens in your face. Use this for good. Use this time and use this technology that you have to help improve yourself.
At least pick something. Maybe you won't learn or do all of these things, but find something positive to do that will help you, make you more valuable. make you a better person. Find something to do while you have this time. You know, we can make the best of a bad situation, and those opportunities to do that.
Definitely. And actually, I think that this is going to be a good place for us to wrap up today's episode. Those 3 points we gave were pretty solid. Pray and meditate to maintain your mental. Read books and your Bible to learn new information and continue to grow spiritually. And then use your time wisely to learn and pick up new career skills, because the climate for it is perfect. And you're at home and nothing to do anyway, so you might as well take this time where you don't have as many distractions as you could have to be productive and continue to grow. But the point that's kind of unofficial, but probably the most important, is talk to people. Communicate. Pick up the phone and call somebody. I know work from home can get stressful because you're on the screens all day. You're on chat. You're on emails. You're in and out of conference calls. But try to have conversations with your family members, those that you would be seeing during this time, but you're not seeing. Some of your coworkers. Pick up the phone and have a quick call. You're not doing anything anyways, and it's good to cultivate these relationships. I know a lot of these were cultivated in person, but there were a lot of relationships that you didn't pay attention to because you were focusing on those that you were seeing so frequently. But now that no one's seeing anyone, everyone's equal. So reach back out to those people that maybe have been neglected, those friendships that might have fallen off, those mentors or mentees, or just people that you used to be in tune with that you aren't really in tune with anymore. And not that bad ex, leave them alone, but the positive people of your life. Reach out to people and communicate to people and continue to maintain a positive perspective during these hard times. But that's about all I have for today, Dad. Anything else you want to leave the people with?
No, I think that's good. If you just practice those things while you're staying at home, make the best of your situation. And we've given you 3 things you can do that will really help you in the long run anyway. And we just hope that you would take our advice and do some of those things. It'll make your stay-at-home time a little better.
But the key to that is your stay-at-home time. Stay at home.
That's right.
Help yourself. Help me. Help your relatives. Help everybody. Stay at home. If it's 2 weeks, if it's 2 months, please just stay at home. It's for the best. But with that, we're going to sign off of this week's episode. I thank you, as always, for tuning in. I thank you to our listeners that have tuned in on Instagram Live as we recorded today's episode. Follow our Instagram at A Product of Proverbs to stay up to date on all new episodes. But thank you for your support, and we'll catch you next week.